Child marriage is a global phenomenon affecting the lives of millions of children each year. Malaysia is no exception. It was reported that between 2007 and 2017, approximately 15,000 cases were recorded in Malaysia, with child marriage occurring in all communities across the country. Child marriage refers to any form of marriage of informal union between a child under the age of 18 and an adult or another child. While the prevalence of child marriage has decreased worldwide, from 1 in 4 girls married a decade ago to approximately 1 in 5 today, the practice remains widespread. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, more than 100 million girls were expected to marry before their 18th birthday in the next decade. Now, up to 10 million more girls will be at risk of becoming child brides as a result of the pandemic. Child marriage is often the result of entrenched gender inequality, making girls disproportionately affected by the practice. Globally, the prevalence of child marriage among boys is just 1/6 that among girls. Child marriage robs girls of their childhood and threatens their lives and health. Girls who marry before 18 are more likely to experience domestic violence and less likely to remain in school. They have worse economic and health outcomes than their unmarried peers, which are eventually passed down to their own children, further straining a country's capacity to provide quality health and education services. Child brides often become pregnant during adolescence, when the risk of complications during pregnancy and childbirth increases for themselves and their infants. The practice can also isolate girls from family and friends and exclude them from participating in their communities, taking a heavy toll on their physical and psychological well-being. Because child marriage impacts a girl's health, future, and family, it imposes substantial economic costs at the national level too, with major implications for development and prosperity. Firstly, poverty is the reason most commonly cited by girls and family members as the driving decision to marry young. Families experiencing extreme financial hardship arrange marriages for their daughters specifically because of lack of food. Poor families also have an incentive to marry their daughters off when they are younger and require less of a dowry. Girls' families traditionally have to give a dowry in the form of cash, jewelry, or goods to the groom's family for the wedding. Child brides are considered beautiful and pure, which required less of a dowry than an older girl, who will require a more expensive dowry. In countries where the groom's family pays the bride a price, parents in difficult circumstances may marry off their daughters as a source of income. Besides, traditional practices often go unquestioned because they have been a part of the community for a very long time. Marriage is seen as a business agreement between families arranged by the elder males, and in many countries, marriages for love are frowned upon. Societal pressure within the community can also lead families to marry off their young daughters. Families describe societal pressure to have their daughters married to prevent them from having a romantic or sexual relationship before marriage. In countries like Bangladesh, parents will marry their daughters to save the family's respect when boys start showing an interest. In Albania, girls are pressured to marry early because it is believed it will prevent premarital sex. Lastly, marriage is seen as a cover of respect and protection for women. By not going to school, it reduces the risk of being sexually active outside the house or be harassed while commuting. Young girls walking alone to school are at risk of sexual exploitation or rape, either of which would bring shame to the family and end any hope of marrying in the future. Child marriage also increases during time of humanitarian crisis or after a natural disaster. Refugee emergencies, floods, earthquakes, wars, and other times of crisis push vulnerable families over the edge. Parents resort to marry their young daughters to older men as a way to protect them from violence and poverty.
One of the ways to end child marriage is through education. Education plays a critical role in keeping girls safe from child marriage. In fact, the longer a girl stays in school, the less likely she is to be married before 18 and have children during her teenage years. Additionally, education ensures girls to acquire skills and knowledge in order to find employment in the future. This means that they are able to support their families. This can help to break the cycle of poverty and prevent child marriages that occur as a result of extreme poverty and financial gain. Besides, providing families with livelihood opportunities like microfinance loans is an effective way to prevent child marriages that occur as a result of financial need. When families have increased economic opportunities, they are less likely to perceive their daughters as economic burdens. This is especially true if a girl is in school, gaining valuable skills that will help generate income in the future. Lastly, in countries where child marriage is prevalent, petitioning government to increase the minimum age for marriage to 18-year-old is a critical first step for positive change. Once the minimum age is increased, it is imperative to continue raising awareness of these laws among government officials and community leaders in order to ensure the laws are being enforced. Other legal policies such as registering birth certificates and marriages are also powerful tools in preventing child marriage.